over $500 billion. So my point of view that we have to work hard to bring at least 5 to 10% of this investment, which goes every year outside of Russia, to come to invest in Egypt. There is a lot of also other things were signed before, like they have signed before industrial zone in Burj Al Arab, but actually they done nothing, or nobody encouraged them to come and invest. I don't know what's the situation, but we already have signed a lot of things which was not facilitated or not on the ground. So what we want is, there is a lot of things we have to do. Russia is one of the strongest countries in the world, and economically and military. So I think the military side, it's very good to go to more than one side to buy from it, but the most important thing is the economic side. The economic side is very, very small to the size of Russia and the size of Egypt. And now actually my point of view that we are giving Russia a silver plate to come to the area, especially after they have all these issues in Libya, and they can be the point not only to Egypt, to all Africa from Egypt. And we need to see how they can bring some of this investing here in Egypt, so we can increase this number. Instead of 70 million, I would like to see it 7, 8 to 10 billion per year.
Well, Engineer Turk, would you say that with all these agreements and all these projects and ambitions to have actually a cooperation between Egypt and Russia, Russian projects, do you feel that it will be much more difficult to actually implement them on the ground and apply them on the ground, not just signing memorandums of understanding?
It's not difficult, but it's not only the president. The president is doing his job. The people who's under the president and the private sector have to do also their job. So we have to see these investors, invite them to Egypt, to see the opportunities. We have a huge opportunities for them in Egypt. Start working on in Dumyat the silos for the seeds and the wheat and start to invest also in the canal and the Suez Canal, and try to implement what was signed before in for Burj Al Arab, and because they don't have actual investment in Egypt. All their investments are less than $66 million, which are very small investment for Russia. Also, our export to Russia is very minimal. Before Russia was, when it was one country, they used to have all their Valencia, the orange from Egypt. They used to have all the the aromatic, what do you call it, the النباتات الطبية والعطرية اللي هي medical plants and aromatic. But after they came to a couple of countries, this was almost destroyed. So we have to, again, we can easily sell to Russia over 1 million tons of Valencia and 1 million tons of potatoes. And now we are going to import, as we heard, 6 ships from them for gas. Why don't we give them our products as a partner deal? Like we agreed that they are not going to work with the dollar, because the dollar is the issue in Egypt now, and the dollar is a big issue in Russia. Has increased in the last couple of months for maybe 3-4 times. So I think it's a very good idea that we do a partner deals, and we start to export to them our Valencia, our potatoes, because also we are in the desert. Now the farmers has a huge, we plan these things for export. Now Europe is almost closing at us. Not actually, but we are farmers, and we have a lot of, we are suffering from the prices of the tomato and the Valencia, which used to be 3 or 4 times the price, and all the entrances have increased. And there is a huge market which can take all these products. And our quality comes to the best quality in these products. Not only in these products, but there's a lot of other furniture, tiles, marbles. All these things, we can open doors for us in Russia and work hard in doing this.
Yes, definitely. Mr. Yehya Negm, now, as you've mentioned, for Russia, Egypt is some sort of a gateway as well to the region. and Russia would like to actually have some sort of a stronger presence in the Middle East region. They've been involved in the Syrian conflict. They've been involved in many different Middle Eastern and Arab files. For Arabs and the Middle East, it would be nice to actually have this sort of Russian intervention in order to balance out the Western and American intervention in the Middle Eastern affairs.
Yes.
But what is it in? What's Russia in it for? What would they get in return?
You would get a lot as well. We know, as we said, they want to expand their presence in the Middle East. They are a member of the International Quartet for Palestine. They are, of course, involved in the international negotiations with Iran. They are involved in Syria and in Libya and other parts. So they have a lot of issues. The situation in Syria is not helping them to have a stable presence in the Middle East. The civil war in Syria is very close to their military base and navy base in Tartus. So, of course, they have fears of the stability of the situation, of the duration of the regime in Syria. So Egypt is known to them since some time ago. We are not new to each other. We had very good and stretched relations from the 50s and 60s during President Nasser. They helped us a lot, and they know about Egypt a lot. They helped us in the economy, they helped us in the military aspect, and they helped us in giving us a political umbrella in those years, which we needed a lot in that time. So I think history is, once again, is repeating itself. We need this political umbrella. We need to balance out our international relations. We need military equipments. We need their technology and their experience in the energy field. They have a lot to give us, and they have also a lot to win. Of course, United States is trying to dominate the region after the Arab Spring. They are trying to spoil every democratic process in the Middle East. They are trying to intervene in Egypt. They are trying to help and support one political side which has lost its popularity in the street. They are trying to enforce things, impose things on the Middle East. I believe that the Middle East is not ready for more U.S. domination in the region. We need an alternative. We have to look for other partners in the international world. We have China, we have Russia, we have India, we have Brazil, we have, and Russia is very involved with these countries in building a new international regime or system. They are involved in BRICS group. They are a member. They are a member in Shanghai Economic Cooperation. They are a member, also founding member of the Euro-Asian Economic Organization, which Egypt is trying to have a membership as well, to try, as my colleague said, to exchange products, not necessarily to pay, or even to pay with another monetary notes, not the dollars. We need to use the ruble or the Egyptian pound, or to exchange simply products. Sorry. So to give them, for example, agricultural products, and receive, for example, technology in the nuclear station or something. So we have to find out a solution. I think Iran did this with their nuclear station. The Russians helped them. We have a better position than Iran. Iran was sanctioned by the West for a long time. They have a tough regime. We are in the Middle East. We are leaders in the Middle East. We are the gates to the Middle East and to Africa. They know about us. They have participated in many projects here in the 60s. The high dam in Aswan, the power stations, and these stations need to be renovated, to be maintained, The factories,
Mr.
of course.
Negm, a lot of political observers and analysts are actually saying that what's happening in the Middle East is some sort of a Cold War between the United States and Russia, another Cold War, and the Middle East and the Arab countries are sort of the battleground for both countries. Would you agree with that?
I think we are at the background since a long time ago, but I don't think right now there is a Cold War between the two sides. They have a very, silent, after what happened in Ukraine, especially after Russia regaining Crimea region, peninsula. Of course, United States declared a silent war against Russia. And with the sanctions, they lost about 25 to 60% of the ruble value in these 2 years. So the United States is declaring a heavyweight war, silent one maybe, but against Russia. They want to starve Russia. We are hit by the same weapons because we also produce petrol, we export petrol, so we are hit as well as Russia. So it's not in our interest, both interests of the two countries, to continue this situation. We have to fight back for our own interest, to have fair and good prices for the petrol, for our primitive materials and so on. So we have a lot in common. We are both developing countries. Of course, Russia is much more developed than Egypt, but we are in the same track. They are helping repatriation of technology. We need this, and they helped us in this. They build, as my colleague said, build many factories in Egypt in the 60s. We have the technology. Russian technology was a very good one, and still we use them in our factories and our military equipment and so on. So it's not new, nothing new, but we need to reestablish the relations, have strategic, clear interests between the two sides. We don't want a unipolar system. We want a multipolar system. We want to balance out our relations. We don't anybody to control our military or our economy. So we are obliged to do so, and I think also the Russians would gain a lot of... Russia is the first source of tourism for Egypt now. Almost the only country, only country that tourists keep coming from there is Russia. So we have a lot, and they will gain a lot with Egypt.
Definitely. Engineer Turk, now